Hey guys, I'm a Dimension Jumper and today I'll be reviewing Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Not a Hero, which was released back on the 17th of December of 2017. Now, the main plot of this game is that at the exact moment after the events of the main game, Chris Redfield had to find Lucas and basically take him down because he's the last member of the Baker family who's been infected by the mold from Evelyn, and he's still a potential threat. And and Lucas is also, I think, part of the same group that Mia was a part of, that you get to see throughout the later parts of the game, or of the main game. And for this DLC, you get to play as Chris Redfield. So if you played Resident Evil Village towards the end, where you got to play as Chris for that small bit at the end of the game, Not a Hero is similar to that, in the sense that you get to play as Chris Redfield, but instead of going around a small European village, fighting lichens and stuff like that, you had to fight those weird-looking goo molded creatures along with Lucas. And I would say this is a nice sort of continuation from the main story, because it's just showing how the events of Resident Evil or Biohazard are still kind of continuing on even after the main events have happened. It's kind of like Shadows of Rose, if we're bringing it back to Resident Evil Village, in the sense that after the main events of that game happens, Rose, grown-up Rose, wants to find a way to get her powers, or relinquish her powers, and Not a Hero is similar like that, where there's like some unfinished business and stuff like that. And like with the main game, the whole game, or certain parts, if we exclude cutscenes, are all done in first person. And again, I really love it when the game goes in first person, because it gives that much more, tension heightened. So like with Resident Evil Village, Biohazard, the tension is like up high, and it's similar with Not a Hero, because I do like how you're going through some of the similar areas. So like I think it's mainly in the salt mines, where you see what Lucas has been doing, and and I do like how the tension keeps on trying to ramp up, and it's nice, it's good, I think. But I think on the other hand, the main game did have a lot of a lot better tension and horror stuff, because I think with Not a Hero, I think because you've experienced so much with what you had to do whilst playing as Ethan, I feel like even though there's a lot of tension, I think a lot of it is good, but also quite negative as well, because you're playing as Chris Redfield, who's been doing this for a very long time, and I think because it's Chris, you feel a sort of relaxation, because he's like this guy who's has experienced like stuff in like Resident Evil 2, I believe. I think he's been in some other games. I know he appears in Village sporadically through that one. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how many other games he's been in. I think he's in 2 or 1. I probably need to play those games when I get round to it. But yeah, I think because you're playing as Chris, a lot of the tension is just lowered a bit, because you're playing someone who's well known in the Resident Evil series. And yeah, I do enjoy that section. I do enjoy his section in the game, Not a Hero. But yeah, the tension I feel like is being brought down just a bit. But overall, I feel like this is a nice continuation from Biohazard, because you know that the story isn't done. There's like, in terms of what has happened in Biohazard, if we exclude Village, because we know what happens in that game, it feels like, oh, this is a nice sort of end to it, in terms of the Baker family, like one part of it. And I will be getting into End of Zoe in a few weeks. I think either next week or the following week, when I get around to reviewing when I review that one, the DLC. So I think when it comes to Not a Hero, I think I do enjoy it. I do like how you have to like basically face the final member of the Baker family, because you did get to face off against kind of Lucas in the main game. I think from what I remember, because it has been a while since I've played Biohazard. I think even though he's the last member, you don't actually get to fight him properly in Biohazard. Because from what I remember, you do Lucas's challenge thing that you get to see on the videotape, and then it's just done. So yeah, and then you get to face him off as Chris. And like with the other members of the Baker family, so Marguerite and Jack, Lucas, yeah, there we go, also mutates into this giant, just from what I remember, it's just giant hulking standard monster zombie looking thing, and it's okay, I guess, because with Marguerite, her body proportions just stretched out, and she looked like this sort of slender man looking person. And with Jack, it was basically himself, but he looked more animalistic. Even though he was basically himself, he was pretty much animalistic when you got to fight him during his first fight, and then when you got to fight him towards the end of the game, he looked more monstrous. And with Lucas, it's kind of, I feel like there was like, oh, what can we make? Let's make this giant monster-looking thing that's pretty generic. So yeah, it's pretty generic, but it's okay. So overall, I would say that Not a Hero is decent. I do enjoy it, and I think it's a nice continuation from the main game, because it starts off just as the main game finishes. So if you choose either ending, like ending A, like where you save Mia by curing her, or ending B if you don't cure Mia but cure Zoe instead. It's nice to see, like, I think because it's a lot better to do the main ending, like with Mia, because that sets up the events for Village. But yeah, it's a nice continuation of the ending of the main game, and I do enjoy playing as Chris just because you're playing as this well-known soldier guy who's been through, as I said before, many events like Biohazard, and this isn't his first rodeo. So yeah, and he's got, like, the better guns, the better equipment, because he's part of Blue Umbrella, I believe. And so yeah, I think it's an interesting continuation of Biohazard. So yeah. So that's been my review for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Not a Hero. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And see you in the next video.